Hey there, folks. Welcome to the Jason Wright Show, Monday Morning Mentor. Please, if you are listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, don't forget to share this with somebody that you think might need to hear it and leave a 5-star rating. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, please click like or subscribe and leave some comments. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, so this morning I want to talk about a concept that I just recently learned that really stuck with me that had to do with discipline. I love to talk discipline. I love to figure out ways to become more disciplined in my walk in life. And I think this was a great way to do it. And the concept is this: be someone that your future self will look back on your past self with gratitude. Okay. So whoever the future you is, be someone today that future you is going to look back on you today with a lot of gratitude. And I'm kind of living this right now. I'll tell you, because I don't know if you can tell, my voice sounds a little weird right now because I've got some kind of a upper respiratory infection of some sort. Had a bad fever last night, probably have it still going on. But here's what I know. I am so grateful of my past self, and that being from, 2 weeks ago, past self. This self, which was once my future self, is so grateful that I put in the work, doing the exercise, not drinking any alcohol, and eating right, so that I have this robust immune system that I know that I'm going to get through this illness pretty quickly. It didn't knock me out. It didn't take me out for a week. I'm able to actually record this podcast. I don't have my complete A game. I don't feel 100%, but because of the work my past self has done, I am very grateful, because essentially discipline is making choices today that are going to benefit my future self. It's deciding to not do the thing today that, while fun, enjoyable, give me pleasure, whether that's spending money right now, it's putting something in my body, sloughing off the exercise, whatever the case may be. Instead of doing that, instead make the correct decision today that my future self will look back and say, thank God you did this. Saving money, that's a great example. Delayed gratification. Saving money. And it's like, Dave Ramsey always says, if you will live like no one else, one day you will live like no one else. And essentially what Dave is saying is that if you will not chase the fancy car, the fancy house, and you will eliminate debt, and you will do these things that, while in the moment, in the present, are sacrifices, your future self will live a lot better and more grateful life because you made those decisions in your past self. And so this is something that I thought to myself, I was like, man, that's really what delayed gratification and that's what discipline is all about. And so as I look at my life, I'm like, what else could I do? I think some of the things that I need to do a better job of is not sloughing off some of my artistic endeavors. I know that sounds crazy. Abby and I always laugh. We say, people find their art. They're finding their art. That's funny. Well, I'm not looking to find my art. But an example is playing the guitar. I've talked about it on the podcast before. And I have picked up the guitar and I'm trying it again because here's what I know. Here is what I know. If a year from now, I'm able to sit down with my guitar and I've got the calluses already developed on my fingers, I'm able to strum a few chords, I'm able to play a tune, I know that future self will be so grateful for this self that will be the past self at that time, for going through just mangling chords, sounding awful, my fingers hurting, not wanting to do it. I know my future self will be happy. And so what I'm doing is I'm trying not to look so much at just what will be good today, what feels good today, what's easy today. At a minimum, I want to say, okay, this is a decision today that I could make, and it'll probably feel good, because maybe I won't go ahead and hop on the Peloton and do that power zone ride, which is basically like a HIIT ride. That's pretty tough. Or maybe I won't get on the rower. Or maybe I'll go ahead and buy the umpteenth pair of shoes that I don't need. And if I do that, though, what's that going to do to my future self? Will it make my future self better, happier? Or will it make my future self unhappy, poorer, unhealthier? What will it do to what will this decision do to my future self? Now, look, you got to be in the present. You got to live your life and you got to have some fun today. It's not about just living this life of constant drudgery for this one day that you're going to all of a sudden enjoy life. That is not what I'm saying. But you know as well as I do, there are certain decisions that we make today that if we would just choose differently, we know our future self would be better for it. You want to be able to look backwards with gratitude. That's the thing. As I look forward in my life, I want to know that one day I will look back with gratitude. And some of that, because I'm old. I'm not old. I don't want to get in the mindset, but I say that too much. I got to probably stop that. But I'm 51 years old. So it's not like I'm exactly young. And I was watching Wedding Crashers for the 100th time here recently, and there's a scene where Owen Wilson and Rachel McAdams are sitting on the beach, and he's like, he's trying to talk about figuring out his future, and I think he's like 36 in the movie, and he's like, I'm still young, I've got time, and she says, well, you're not that young, and she's saying that to Owen Wilson at the time, who's 36. Well, I'm 51, so I embrace it. I'm not that young, but as I get older, I think about these things a little more deeply. I think about, okay, my future self is coming really fast. So what decisions can I make? And I also look back with more gratitude on the things that I did in my 20s and 30s and 40s that I got right. And then I also beat the hell out of myself sometimes for not doing that. I look back on my past self and say, my gosh, why didn't you just make a different decision? And so I want to eliminate some of those. I want to try to always look back with gratitude and be thankful that I made the decisions that I did for a better future self. So here's something that I saw a video this past week on a reel or something where this guy was talking about some of these concepts, and he said that instead of journaling, write yourself notes. Just leave yourself notes. Like every time I go out of town, I leave Jemlyn notes all over the house. I leave them, so she'll find them. While I'm gone, she'll just randomly find some little note. I love you or something like that. And so this guy was saying, instead of journaling all the time, why don't you write yourself a note that you may find randomly about where you're going, what you're trying to do? Just reminders, not just the daily affirmations, but just reminders of where you're headed, of the life that you want to have. And put these notes where you'll find them. And remind yourself of things that you've overcome, of where you've come from and to where you are now. I don't know. I thought this was a great concept. And I think that a lot of times, it's kind of this weird balance. I mean, like I mentioned, we want to be in the present. We want to enjoy life and we want to have fun and we want to savor each and every moment. I even talk about it a lot on this podcast that it's one of the things I struggle with. One of the things that I did for years, I looked on the past with nostalgia, the future with anxiety and anticipation, and I would completely ignore the present. That's not a good way to live. And it's the same thing to not always live to the point where you're constantly making such sacrifices that you're waiting for that someday to enjoy that, putting off the instant gratification that you may drop dead and you never enjoyed it. It is a balance, and I'm fully aware of that. But I do think if we at least have this mindset that the decisions that we're making today, we're going to try our best to make decisions that will allow our future self to look back with gratitude, that we were willing to make the sacrifices, that we were willing to do the hard thing to make for a better future self. I hope that makes sense. I hope you find some benefit in it. Please, again, if you do, share it with somebody that you think might need it. Leave some comments if you're watching it on YouTube. And most importantly, it's Monday. We got a whole new start of this week. It's already June when I'm recording this. I can't believe it. Go crush your week, crush your day. Tell someone you love them. I'm Jason, and I'm out.